Hello, everyone. I am Chuang. Today, let's draw a Keichousaurus. Keichousaurus is a marine reptile that belongs to a taxon called Sauropterygia. It was more primitive than Plesiosaurus, a bit like the ancestor of Plesiosaurus. It represents the morphology evolving towards the plesiosaurs. It appeared somewhat similar to Plesiosaurus. It had a long neck, and its tail showed signs of shortening but was still very long. Its limbs became very flat, a bit like paddles, yet fully developed into flippers like the plesiosaurs. It was pretty small, and the larger Keichousaurus was only this big. The average one is about the same size as this model. Now, let's draw the Keichousaurus. We first determine the proportions of each part of the Keichousaurus. Its head is about this big, and it has a long neck, about here. Its torso was very long. We're going to draw its tail swinging over. Now, let's go into details and start by drawing its head. Well, draw it as if we look down from above. From this angle, its head is almost a pentagon, and the eyes are relatively wide. When looking from top to bottom, its two eyes are facing sideways, a bit upward, resembling a crocodile or a frog. It had two tiny nostrils. There were two relatively large temporal fenestrae behind the eyes. Let's outline them with dotted lines. There were many delicate and tiny teeth in its mouth, which were arranged staggered. Next, let's draw its neck backward. Its neck was very slender. We can draw it straighter. It started to get thicker when coming to the torso. At this position, we leave the space for its forelimbs, and here will be for the hind legs. Now, we come to its tail. The tail was thick at the base, and became thin at the end as it moved backward. It would use its tail to paddle the water left and right. Then, we can use a vague line to show the spine in the middle of its back. Then, we come back to draw its limbs. Let's draw its front legs first. Its upper arms were relatively thin. One feature of Keichousaurus is that the male individuals had very thick forearms. It had 5 fingers, the fourth being the longest. The same was true for the hind limbs, but the feet were larger. Finally, let's draw a membrane between the fingers and toes, which became a paddle-like structure for paddling. In this way, we've finished drawing the Keichousaurus.